Hi there. Today I want to explore some of the ways you can become an in-demand virtual summit or virtual event speaker. Virtual event speaking is a brilliant way to build your audience, to build your email list, and to build your business. So if that sounds good to you, stick around and I'll see you in a moment. So if you caught my last video, I was talking about 7 ways to explode your email list growth using existing lead magnets that are probably underperforming. And in item number 6 on that list, and you can go and check that list, go watch my last video, I was talking about being a guest expert on virtual summits and virtual conferences. This is what I want to talk about today, the 7 steps to becoming an in-demand virtual summit speaker. So as a bit of a recap, why would you want to be a virtual conference guest expert or speaker? Well, there are some really good reasons. Number 1, you'll be in front of a lot of people, and you will always generally have an opportunity to offer them your existing lead magnets. And by extension, it's a brilliant way to grow your email list. And as anyone that's successful with an online business will tell you, the money is in the list. Now, this is something I hear again and again with my podcast guests, that one of the things that's the clearest precursor to success for an online business owner is email list growth. Because once you have an email list, you have a relationship that you control. You no longer depend on Facebook. You no longer depend on Google. You have a direct line of communication with your ideal customer. So a well-designed lead magnet drives email list growth, which by extension drives business, money in the bank. So email list growth is one really good reason to be a virtual conference or virtual summit speaker. But there are other really good reasons. Almost better, but not better, but almost better. And one of them is it will really build your expert status. If you're there at virtual industry events talking about things you know about, you are an expert on, people will see you there and your expert status will climb. Not only that, but your audience will grow. A proportion of those people who see you at these events will migrate across to your audience and start spending time with you and draw closer to you and your business. But another really good reason is it will build your network. And I'm not talking about your network in terms of audience. I'm talking about your peer, creator, and expert network. Because one of the most powerful things about virtual summits is, yes, they bring lots of people together from a consumer perspective in terms of audience, but they also, in the green room, so to speak, bring together lots of experts. And if there's one thing I've found to be true with building your business online is friends help friends.
Oh, friend! Oh, new friend! Oh, friend! Please be my friend! Oh, friend! Oh, friend!
So if you can get to know an awful lot of other of the guest experts, those people will become your colleagues, your peers. You'll be able to lean on them. They will lean on you. You'll be able to share opportunities. They will share opportunities with you. And this is a wonderful reason to get involved with virtual summits. So now we're getting in to the 7 steps to becoming an in-demand virtual summit speaker. Now this is really step by step, all the things you're going to need to make this happen. So the first thing you're going to need is something called a one-sheet. Now, a one-sheet is really a simple document, one sheet, kind of obviously, that lets this event organizer know everything they're going to need to know about you on one sheet. It's not a complicated email they're going to need to look for. It's a PDF. And I have some examples. A bonus tip, if you want to be a podcast guest or anything like that, the same tip applies. You're going to need a one sheet if you want to cut through. So here are some example one sheets that have been sent to me. These are real live one sheets. They've been sent to me as a podcast host in the hope that people would come on my podcast. So these are great examples because they're live, they're working for people, they are actually in use. So let's have a look. So this is Brandon Cockrell. It's a really good example. Tells you a little bit about him here. Some interview topics, a great picture of him and his contact information. Dan Englander, some suggested topics, some suggested questions. Again, making my job as a host much easier. John Wall, again, another really good example. tells me everything I need to know about whether he's relevant or not, how to contact him, and what we might be speaking about, again, to make my job a little easier. Here we've got Andrew Turner, a very different design. The design almost doesn't matter. You could do this with a straightforward page of A4 in Google Docs or Word. What matters to me is that I don't have to go rummaging around to decide whether you're relevant or not. You're using this document to build your authority and your credentials. A better example here, Roger Edwards tells me what he's been on as a podcast guest, tells me what other summits and things he's been involved in. Lots of information that I'm going to need here. Shannon Lee, again, very, very simple. Now, what's interesting is most of these people haven't done very much. They haven't been on lots and lots of podcasts. They've really only been on a couple. But I look at this, it looks professional, it looks polished. They look the part. That's important. They look the part. So I'm confident to take a chance on them. That's all you want. What can you do so that people will take a chance on you? So the one sheet for that is really important. So the second thing you're going to need is a bio or a biography. And now this doesn't have to be wholly comprehensive. It doesn't have to be War and Peace, your complete history of you. What it needs to be is 500 words that really make it clear who you are, what you take seriously, what you're professionally interested in, and why people should take a chance on you. Because it's your bio, you get to decide what's in it. You get to decide what's left out. Obviously, you're going to accentuate the positive. Also, you're going to accentuate the relevant. So 500 word or so bio is going to be what people understand as the truth about you. It's often said your brand is what people say about you when you're not in the room. Your bio is where you start to forge that brand. So make sure it's something you'd be happy to stand behind. Again, you don't have to overthink it, just get it done. But your bio is really important. And as your business grows, as your brand grows, as your confidence grows, and as your experience grows, your bio will shift. So review it often. But if you're just beginning, just get a professional bio written, then move on to step 3. So step 3 is document your audience. When people bring virtual summit speakers on board, they're looking for 2 things. They're looking for somebody that's going to bring value for the audience in that summit. That doesn't have to be ridiculous value. It just has to be a little golden nugget. But they're also looking for people with an audience. So actually document what your audience is. How many LinkedIn connections do you have? How many Twitter followers do you have? YouTube subscribers, Instagram followers, people on your email list. None of these numbers need to be massive, but they will want to know, because your ability to spread the word for them is really important. People are looking for virtual summit guests who will help them bring in people. It's not all for the host to do. If you can be a great partner and a great participant and demonstrate ahead of time your enthusiasm and document your list and say, these are my people, again, you're going to be a much more attractive prospect for them. So how are we going to do this? Now, the first thing you have to remember is that nobody's going to jump out of a Magic Summit box and say, Bob, I think you're exactly the right person for us. I've discovered you and I want you to come and join my virtual summit. It never happens. You're going to have to put yourself forward. You're going to have to sell yourself. And if there's one thing I know that's true about sales, is it needs planning, systems, process, and effort. So we're going to need a plan. So understand that you are selling yourself. The first thing you're going to need to do is make a list of the virtual summits that might suit you. So that's the first thing you're going to have to do, is a little bit of research and make a list of the virtual summits that you want to approach. You can do some Google searches. You can ask around, who do you know that's also speaking at virtual summits? Ask them, who can I speak to make this happen? What's the process? Also, look out for Facebook ads. Facebook ads are a great place to discover virtual summits you might be interested in. A lot of the time you might be watching Facebook ads and trying to block them out. I would advise you to start paying attention to them, because once you start searching for virtual summits, they're going to start leaping out in front of you through Facebook ads. So pay attention to the Facebook ads when you start doing your research. Facebook knows what you're looking for and they will put it in front of you. Another really good tool when you're searching for virtual summits is Facebook groups. most virtual summits will have a companion Facebook group. So go into Facebook, type into the search virtual summit and perhaps a key phrase that brings it more in alignment with the industry that you're interested in. And you'll probably find at least 10, possibly 50, maybe as much as 100, depending on your industry, of virtual summits. In addition to that, there are Facebook groups for virtual summit organizers. That's another great place to look. So that's a few things that you can do. Then you're going to need to plan your approach. You should expect a little bit of rejection. You should expect a little bit of, no, maybe not now. But with anything in sales, rejection's part of the process. So suck it up, buttercup. Get ready for it, because you're going to get some rejection. But put yourself in the path of luck, because you might just get lucky. And once you're on one virtual summit, the doors will unlock. So we need to get that first one for you. Another important thing to remember is when you're trying to break into virtual summits, don't put yourself first. Put the host first. What does that person want from you? What are they going to need to make it easy for them to say yes to you? That's what I'm coming to in a minute. This is the good stuff when I get to the 7 steps. Also, my last tip before you start the work is remember, sales take time. Most virtual summits are annual events, and what you'll probably find for the majority of the virtual summits that you're looking for is you have most likely just missed the boat. Probably the virtual summit you're interested in was last week, or it's in 1 week. The chances of you finding the right summit at the right time for you to be in the next boat, they're small. So we need to understand this is a long game, and you need to start playing now. So item 4 on my list is that you should have a little workshop. And I would recommend this to everybody. Have a little workshop in your pocket, ready to pull out whenever opportunity arises. Because your credibility as an expert is really amplified when you can do some teaching. So have a little workshop on whatever your area of interest or competence is. Because most of the time, when you're a virtual summit speaker, you're going to be delivering this workshop. And you don't have to produce it from scratch for every single virtual summit. Create it once and tour with it. Most professional speakers that I know have 1 or 2 flagship pieces of work that they use again and again and again. So get something basic, just 20 minutes or so, a little workshop where you go deep into a very small area of your entire zone of genius, but just have it there ready to go, so that when the opportunity does leap out in front of you, you're not panicking thinking, oh my God, I've got 1 week to produce a presentation. That's a bad place to be. Have it before you need it, because you're going to need it if this is your path. Item 5 on my list is a bonus, and I don't mean a bonus for you. I mean a bonus for the audience. One of the things that is quite common in virtual summits is that it's generally free for audience to attend, but there will be some paid upgrades available. And one of the things that virtual summit hosts like to do is offer bonuses for people who pay for these upgrades. So if you have a mini course or something you'd normally charge a little bit of money for, maybe a power hour with you, a little bit of consulting, maybe, as I said, a mini course or an ebook or a planner of some kind, offer these to the host to give into their bonus bundle. Again, that will make you a lot of friends. It will be very worthwhile, because if you bring a bonus, everybody likes a bonus, everybody likes an extra. So if you get out ahead of them asking, you'll stand out. And that's really what we want to achieve. So as a virtual summit guest, have your bonus ready. Don't wait for the opportunity to come and then you scratch your head thinking, what am I going to do? Be ready. Look professional. So item 7 on my list is really simple. Very, very simple. It's get a great headshot. If you don't have a great headshot, then everything's going to be hard for you, because people work on first impressions. They'll take a look at you, they'll make a very snap judgment, and then they'll move on. So if you don't have a great headshot, you're going to be in trouble. Here's the website we looked at earlier. Look at these speakers. Great headshots. You need to fit in. If you don't have a great headshot, you're going to find it really, really difficult to stand out, and you're going to feel really awkward. A great headshot will make you feel really confident about the experience of approaching people. So start with this first. Although it's item 6 on my list, I probably look at making this item number 1 on yours, if that makes sense. So item number 7 on my list. This is the last item on my list. And that's a network. Build your network. Again, Rome wasn't built in a day. The best time to plant a tree was 20 years ago. The next best time is now. So you need to start building your network. Look at who is speaking at the summits or the events that you want to speak at. Who is organizing them? Get to know them. Try and be helpful. Find other ways to muck in at a virtual summit. Be an active participant. Be a very visible and active audience member. Let people meet you. And then over time, these people will start to draw you in closer. Maybe the next summit, or the one you've probably just missed, isn't your summit, but start getting to know people. Let people know that you're interested in it. And you'll probably find the opportunities very slowly start, but then they'll come thick and fast. So make a start. So a couple of bits of advice beyond the mechanical, sort of very practical things I just discussed. The most important thing, I guess, is if you're a little bit like me, imposter syndrome is going to jump up and poke you in the eye every time you stick your head up above the parapet. There's always a good reason not to do these things. There's always something seemingly easier to do. But the easy path will rarely get you to any level of success. Making yourself uncomfortable is where you will find success. So don't let imposter syndrome get in the way. You need to push through imposter syndrome and become accustomed to being uncomfortable. I think one of the most important things is also that small actions add up over time. If you start taking small actions, even if it's just reaching out to one person today and something else tomorrow, these small actions, even if they just take 2 or 3 minutes, they build momentum, and the momentum will carry you forward, and they'll carry you forward into the kind of landscape where you'll meet success. But if you don't take those small actions now, the success, you will never arrive there. So small actions, and let momentum carry you forward. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope you're enthusiastic about becoming a virtual summit guest expert. For me, it's a brilliant way of building my business. It's almost guaranteed to work for you. I don't care what level of expert you feel you're at, there's a place for you in virtual events. Either participating in other people's or doing your own thing. You don't have to wait for other people, but it's great for so many other reasons, as I discussed: the network, the audience, everything that I discussed. So if you have any questions, I'll be waiting for you down in the comments. If you did enjoy this video, consider giving it a thumbs up, let YouTube know, and also subscribe. And if you do, hit the bell. That way YouTube will send you notifications every time I post new videos. My name is Bob Gentle. This has been Amplify, and thank you for watching, and see you next time.